What's going on? Hope you all are doing well. Listen, early in my professional career, I had a boss by the name of Kathleen Shanahan. Kathleen was a power broker as a woman, had a very impressive resume, and still does to this day. I was very young, fresh out of college, probably removed 3 or 4 months from college, not really knowing what I want to do with my life, with my career, with my degree. Got a job to work for then Governor Jeb Bush, and I was very entry level. But I had a work ethic, I had a hustle, I had a grind. I was working for Kathleen, again, a power broker, and Kathleen would say 3 words: details, details, details. And she would always say that because although I was young and impressive by way of my work ethic, my problem was I like to finish my task really fast. So she would ask me to do something, I would get it done almost in record pace. The problem with that was I made a lot of mistakes because I didn't go back to make sure that before I completed the task given to me, I had checked and rechecked and double checked and triple checked the work that was given to me. As a result, I would turn in assignments she asked me to do or bring back to her information I had to research, and she would always seem to zone right in on the error that I made, albeit small, sometimes large. She would always seem to notice it, and she would have with a stern voice say, details, details, details. It drove me crazy. I felt like there was nothing I could do nor say that would appease her. And there were days I would go home literally emotionally drained and sometimes in tears because I felt like I was working for a mean lady who just enjoyed pouncing on me. Years would go by where I would move on to other jobs and she would move outside of government back to the private sector. And we still remained in contact. Honestly, she and my wife share the same birthday. So I always, at least once a year, reach out to her. But to my amazement, as my career advanced, that I would get a call here or there about a potential opportunity, only to find out that Kathleen Shanahan was the one behind the scenes mentioning my name to the potential employer, to at least encourage them to reach out to me for a conversation. If you ever worked for her, you felt like once she's your boss, she's always your boss. But as I grew in my career, as I've been able to get to where I am now, I often think back on the early part of my career working for Kathleen and those 3 words of details, details, details. I didn't know then what I know now, but I'm so grateful that that was the beginning of my career and I worked for her. And here is why. Because what Kathleen was trying to teach me that I eventually caught hold of is, Darrick, pay close attention to detail. It's not about finishing the assignment fast or finishing the task fast. It's attention to detail. Do you know that the work product that you produce is a part of your brand? It's a part of who you are. And when people mention your name or suggest you for an opportunity, they're considering all of you, your personality, your character, but also your work product. Attention to detail can make and or break you in opportunities. Again, I love to be the first one done. And that started back actually when I was in school. I thought it was always a race to be the first one to finish the test and the first one to turn the assignment in and the first one, whatever else it may be. And oftentimes it helped. But there were times when that one mistake was the difference between me winning and me coming in second place. And then I carried that into my early part of my career. There is an art that you must understand about attention to detail. Is that you want to make sure that you, the producer of the product, has done the work to make sure that everything that is a part of what you are doing has been thoroughly reviewed before final submission. You're not getting points in the professional arena for finishing first. You're not. So if anybody told you that, they've lied to you. You're not. When you are advancing in your career, especially when you start working for high demand, high wage places of employment, the attention to detail matters. If you are working in the stock market, for example, if you happen to rush past certain numbers and you falsely report them, that's detrimental not only to you, but to the clients by which you serve. Attention to detail. You making sure that you slow yourself down long enough to thoroughly review the materials to make sure that what you see is actually what you see. Making sure that you haven't deceived yourself into seeing something that really isn't there. Attention to detail is to make sure that if you are servicing a client, that you have their best interests at heart, because they're not paying you ultimately to meet to submit it by a certain time, as much as to make sure that what you submit by that time is of great importance to them. Attention to detail is when you realize that what I'm working on is a part of who I am. And you don't want people to say he's a really good guy, but his work product needs some work. You want to be careful not to brag about, I was the first one to finish that. But when they look at what it is, it's not reflective of what it could have been. What it could have been. Attention to details. She never said back then what she meant. She would always say details, details, details. And man, it frustrated me. But I'm actually glad that she didn't sit me down and thoroughly explain it to me, because I had to grow into that understanding. And now that I've grasped it, let me say thank you, Kathleen Shanahan, but also I can share it with you. Attention to detail is a major difference maker and sometimes the deciding factor. Make sure before you finalize the product, before you submit the assignment, before you brag about the work, you have sat yourself down long enough to thoroughly review what it is that you're working on and made sure, there you go, details, details, details. Hope this helps you out. Have a great day. Remember, make moves, not announcements.